Hello everybody, this is Gregory with 5 Minute Catholic Apologetics, where 5 minutes of your time may get you to the divine. Today we're going to talk about how Christ didn't coerce anyone, so neither should we. Now before we begin, let's start with a prayer. Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, Amen. Gloria et Patri et Filii et Spiritui Sancto, Secutora in principio et nunc et semper et seculi seculorum. Amen. Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, Amen. So I think this is a continuing kind of theme regarding apologetics and how to approach it, in my humble opinion. If we look at Christ's MO in the Gospels, he didn't coerce anybody. Christ's strategy was teaching, preaching, showing the Pharisees and other hypocrites that they're being hypocritical, dining and hanging out with prostitutes and sinners, and teaching a lot through parables, and many times telling people that the parables were secretive, and they even told the apostles that they wouldn't understand it, other people wouldn't understand it. By the way, you never see him coercing anybody. And of course, Jesus Christ has the power to show miracles. He has the power to convince even the most hardened and inveterate haters like Caiaphas or Pilate that he is the Son of God. He could have revealed that. But he didn't do that. What does he tell Thomas, doubting Thomas? When you want to put your fingers in my wound, he says, my Lord and my God. And Jesus says, blessed are those who believe without needing proof. Right? To have faith without needing proof. So Jesus, even you think of John 6, bread of life discourse, when the people are like, you want us to eat you? And they walked away, he could have coerced them, he could have worked some sort of miracle, he could have even done some sort of psyops on them and get into their head. I mean, he's God, right? But he does, he's like, all right, look, he never like begs anybody to listen to him. He's never pleading. He's like, this is what I'm teaching, accept it or not. And the majority of the people did not accept it. So he didn't coerce. So we shouldn't coerce. And I've talked about this before. When you have people in your life who are not Catholic, I think the impetuous, rash approach is proselytizing and being heavy-handed. We see Protestant brothers and sisters do this all the time. Not all of them, of course. We see atheists do this all the time. We see people of differing political views do this with each other. Just malign the other person, insult the other person for believing what they believe, and just mocking them. Like, you're a moron for not believing what I believe. And vis-a-vis religion, I mean, you see this quite often. And it's not, first of all, a charitable approach. It's not done in love. And it's not an effective approach to be heavy-handed and coerce. There's a lot of ways you can coerce people with faith. I mean, you could be dating somebody and say, unless you convert, I'm not going to marry you. Or unless you do this. That's emotional blackmail. That's coercion. But when it comes to Protestants in your life, and you might have a very good will and an earnest intent to help these people. Again, you see this in the Protestants. They want to save us Catholics, right? But you might have an earnest approach to it. Like you have a family member, a friend, you love them, you think that they've gone wayward either on ethical and moral living. Let's say they're cohabiting, living in sin. They've joined a cult, whatever it is. And you're so tempted to insult and malign whatever they're doing. I can't believe you support this. I can't believe that. You're just going to alienate people. So what can you do? Answer questions. Answer questions. Defend the faith, 1 Peter 3, and answer questions with a smile. And ultimately, if they don't listen, you shake the dust off your sandals, as Christ told the disciples when he sent them off. It's not on you. Like there used to be that concept of white man's burden when Europe was evangelizing and colonizing Africa to bring their benighted principles. It's the white man's burden. It's not your burden to have to convert every person who's not Catholic or to bring everybody who's not your political affiliation to your political affiliation. Your job is to answer questions. Your job, if you're being approached by someone who maybe is a belligerent toward the faith, and we have an episode like how do you handle these people, you can just be like, you really have two approaches. You can just be nice and smile and be like, the Catholic Church doesn't teach any of these things, and just repeat that. If you want to know stuff about the Catholic Church, read the Catechism or watch Catholic Answers or listen to Catholic Answers, and just repeat that. Because with these type of people, you're not going to change them. They're goading you into a fight, and you just need to drop the rope, like in tug of war. You need two people to fight and to tug. Just don't fight back, because these people are not open and receptive to hearing the truth. They're not open and receptive to hearing anything you have to say about Catholicism. They're just wanting to fight you. You represent the boogeyman, some childhood trauma, whatever it is, and you're not going to convince them. They're not going to be like, you know what, Bob, that was so convincing. No. So if you're being approached by a belligerent person, just think, thank you for sharing your insight. God bless. You're not going to convince them. Just like with the criteria of admonishing a sinner. There has to be a criteria. Is it grave matter? Are you the best person for that person to listen to? And would they listen to you? And it's kind of the same thing. So pick your battles. Christ didn't coerce, you shouldn't coerce. Just because you might have knowledge in apologetics, or I have knowledge in apologetics, or Trent Horn has knowledge in apologetics, Trent Horn is not going to be your whoever you want to talk about, Jimmy Akin. They're not going to be bashing non-Catholics in the head. They're just going to be like, if you want to have a conversation because you have earnest questions about the faith, I will answer those questions about what the Catholic Church teaches or clarify things that you might not understand. And at the end of that, it's like, well, I'm glad you heard me out, and I hopefully answered your questions, and that's it. Don't be pushing like, what, you're not Catholic now? No, just answer questions, and if they're maligning the faith, you have a choice. You can just walk away, because again, you're not going to convince them. Or you can just say the Catholic Church doesn't teach any of those things. Go read the Catechism. But don't coerce, don't manipulate, don't gaslight, because all those things are un-Christ-like, they're not charitable, and they're not effective. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.